had a realization today that I wanted to share with you. And I was just sitting here contemplating it while looking outside. And I realized how much I'm perpetuating my own health issues by trying to avoid being like my mother or my perception of her as I was growing up. Because she had a lot of health issues too. And I remember resenting how often she was in bed because I was in charge of doing dishes for as long as I can remember. Once a stool could reach the kitchen sink, I was doing the dishes. And once I started figuring out how to cook, I was the cook. And I remember doing a lot of the cooking or the cleaning as well, because there was always something wrong. And we moved almost every year. And it seemed like 80% of the reasons why we moved were because of my mom's health. Because she thought one thing or another was affecting her where we lived, so we'd have to try somewhere else. And now I understand how panic-stricken you can feel when you're not getting answers to health issues. And I've made peace with that, but the developmental part of me hangs on to the resentment, the ill will that I had. And once I was diagnosed officially with fibromyalgia, and the doctor said I probably had it since my traumatic accident as a child, it probably is what caused it, because I've shown signs of fibromyalgia since I was little. And I had consistent traumas, neglect, and then abuse on top of physical trauma after that. And it just added up. And now I'm 46. This was my birthday month. My birthday was on the 12th. And my boyfriend proposed on the 11th. And I'm sitting here thinking about, why am I not more joyful? I'm a joyful person. What is wrong with me? Why does my health keep pulling me back down? And you know what I realized this morning is, it's because I'm trying so hard to not be how I saw my mother when I was young. I've had my blood checked, and at some points it's worse than it was for my mom. And somehow she was able to have my dad support her. She was an artist though, so she would go through spurts where she felt good and she produced art and made good money doing it. But in the in-between times, she was in bed. And apparently I'm still angry about that. And I'm so angry, didn't know I was gonna get emotional, so I apologize for that. But I'm so angry still that I'm avoiding taking care of myself. I'm avoiding acknowledging the magnitude of some of the things I have to deal with my health. I'm in denial about it. I eat gluten when I shouldn't be. I drink caffeine and coffee when I shouldn't be. So now I'm in agony because I'm doing those things. I keep sabotaging myself. I haven't sabotaged my relationship romantically so far that I'm aware of. He's very, very patient and tolerant man, thank God. But I'm sabotaging myself now. It's interesting how we self-sabotage and we learn how to self-abuse because we pick up these patterns from other people, especially if it's caregivers, parents who didn't know. My mom didn't know better. They didn't have information. The boomers didn't have resources. They didn't have TikTok. They didn't have anything to help them. So my mom was crippled not just with physical issues, but depression. And I'm angry at myself for not being able to forgive that still. Forgive it to the degree, at least, that I take care of myself. That I'm worth it. And I'm not in the position of being able to stay home all the time and work from home. I would love to be able to work from home. I would make videos all the time. I would write more. I would do so many things if I could work from home, if I made enough money with videos and all of that. But I am not in that position right now. Hopefully in the future I can be, but I have to work. I've had to work since I was 14 years old. I haven't had more. I took a week off when I got married when I was young, and I took another week off when my father-in-law died. And I haven't had more than that much time off in my entire life, other than when I was unemployed. And when you're unemployed, if you've ever been unemployed, not in COVID times, but other times, that is more exhausting and harder work. Hustling, trying to deal with the ins and outs of the loopholes that the government makes you jump through, that is more exhausting and keeps you impoverished more than working a dead-end job does. It's even worse. But I digress. I'm just saying I haven't had a break, like a vacation, a real vacation where I can take a full week and not worry about work or death. And I have to figure out how to take care of myself without feeling sorry for myself. Where's the balance? Like, I'm intense. I go to extremes. So how do I wallow? I mean, not wallow. I do a great job of wallowing. How do I take care of myself without wallowing or being angry at my mom or myself? How do I stop self-sabotaging? That's what I'm working on now. I am not responsible for cleaning the outside of this window, but I probably should. So I apologize for that. It's nasty. It's just drops of rain and stuff on the outside. Anyway, I digress. So I want to close out by saying that I received a birthday gift in the mail today from one of my dearest friends. And what's funny is on my birthday, we went to Butterfly Wonderland in Scottsdale. My fiance and his daughter and I went. And then I got a nice little box with a selenite heart, a few little stickers, and this. And as an Aries, born in April, my birthstone is a diamond. But I didn't see a diamond at first. I saw the Superman symbol. And there's a butterfly wing and some dried flowers. And a friend of my friends made this by hand. And I felt it when I put it on. Do you ever have that experience where you hold something or touch something or wear it? And I literally felt the vibration move through my body. I had chills going up and down my spine, and I remembered my own power and grace. And it reminds me that you can have grace and be powerful at the same time. And I love it. I literally got emotional when I put it on. I know it sounds silly. It seems logically in my brain it's silly, but thank you, Madeline. Glitter Alchemy. You can look her up. She's in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but you can look her up on Instagram or Facebook. But she's a magical little bruja. She knows just what to give me. Something I would not pick for myself. That's so meaningful. And I could feel her vibration, her courage, her strength, her success. So I just wanted to share with you some awareness that I'm having and how important it is. I wanted to share my process with you. It's important to acknowledge where these things come from sometimes, I think, because then you don't beat yourself up as much, or anybody else. You know, it's nobody's fault. This just is what it is. And when you're young, you can get angry and frustrated because everything is out of your control. And you're not getting affection from your family. All you're getting is transplanted, always being the new kid, the strange, weird new kid that belongs to a weird religion that can't interact with anybody else. That was the story of my life. And I know more, I know better, and I want to do better, but I have to care about myself. So I'm going to go on a journey of being more consistent with self-care, not eating what... Because do you have this issue? Like, I'm sure it's the opposite for some people, because I've been in this space where I don't eat. Like, have filled with so much anxiety, or I was going through like abuse and trauma, so I could not eat. Like, my stomach could not handle food. It was already all... And right now, especially since COVID started, I eat to soothe. Eating can be grounding, it can relax the nervous system, but when you mindlessly do it, it's an emotional thing, and that's what I've been doing. And it's really hard to stop until I'm in pain, and then I stop. But I have to find a better coping mechanism, and I have to believe that I'm worth it. And I know better, and my intellectual brain knows all of this. But putting it into practice. So thank you for joining me on this little journey. And I really hope that it helps somebody maybe feel less alone, or maybe you identify with an aspect of it. But that's the key, is to identify the pattern. And sometimes you figure out where the pattern starts, and sometimes you don't. And if you don't know where the pattern begins, maybe it's for the best. Because sometimes our brain forgets things for our own sake. It's just going to be a distraction anyway. So sometimes you don't know why you do things, and that's okay. The important thing is to just identify it without judgment, acknowledge it, and recognize sooner and sooner, whenever you start to fall back into an unhealthy pattern, recognize when you're doing it. So I wanted to make this quick, but I got a little emotional and I took a few detours. But I appreciate you watching if you've watched this long, and I appreciate everybody who watches my videos and sends me messages and sends me requests, and it means the world to me. And hopefully someday I can offer more, because I'm receiving more financially, time and money, that allows me to create more, that can be more healing for you and better guidance for you. So with that being said, and to honor my friend Madeline, who sent me the most beautiful gift outside of the gift my man gives me, of course, I want to say besos.